Take a listen to this exact lo-fi beat. It relies on heavy drums, chopped samples, and polyphonic chords. Today, we are going to build this track from scratch. We will walk step by step through a complete production workflow on the Sp404 mk2, covering how to auto-chop samples, program drums using the TR-Rec sequencer, and perform chords in chromatic mode. Before we begin, verify that your device is running firmware version 2.00 or higher. You will also need raw audio loaded up, either from an SD card or streamed directly into the machine over a USB-C cable. Pairing these modern firmware updates with the classic Roland layout creates a complete DAW-less production environment. Step 1 is ingesting our audio. Once you record your main sample directly through the USB input, hold the Shift button and press Start End to enter the trim menu. Next, select the Auto Chop function. This divides the audio into 8 even slices automatically. When you slice audio mathematically, the cut often lands in the middle of a sound wave. This results in a harsh click at the beginning of the audio when you press the pad. To remove that click, hit the Resample button. This snaps your chop point directly to the zero crossing line, the exact point where sound amplitude is at 0. With those clicks removed, you can assign these refined slices to individual pads across your bank. To keep the audio tails from overlapping and creating mud, turn the gate setting off and assign all 8 pads to the same mute group. Now, triggering one pad instantly cuts off the audio from the previous one. Applying zero crossing and mute groups ensures your chops function as isolated triggers. Now we establish the rhythm. Enter pattern select mode, hit an empty pad, press record, and dial in your BPM and pattern length. By default, the device enters real-time recording. Press the Remain button to shift into TR-Rec mode. As this diagram illustrates, TREC mode maps your 16 pads onto a classic linear 16-step grid. Hold down the sub-pad to select your kick drum sample. Then tap pads 1, 5, 9, and 13 to lock those kicks precisely onto the downbeats of the sequence. Repeat that sub-pad selection process to layer your snares onto the 2 and 4, and then pepper your hi-hats across the remaining open steps. Because the TREC sequencer locks every hit to the grid, you get perfectly quantized drum timing. This establishes a reliable anchor to play your looser, unquantized samples over. Let's add harmony. Go back to the pattern sequencer and select a single melodic instrument sample, like a piano one-shot. Press Shift and Pad 4 to activate chromatic mode, which spreads that single sample's pitch across the entire board. By default, chromatic mode is restricted to monophonic playback. If you press multiple pads at once, the machine will only play one single note. To enable chord playback, press the Remain button to cycle through the playback modes until the screen reads Poly. Next, push in the value knob. This menu allows you to lock the 16 pads to a specific musical scale, which ensures every note you play stays in key. With your scale locked in, switch back to real-time recording and perform your new chord progression over your TREC drum loop. Polyphonic chromatic mode allows the sampler to function as a synthesizer, providing the tools to build deep harmonies without external gear. Consult the Sp404's data structure. Samples build into patterns, organize into banks, and sequence into pattern chains. We are working in the blue pattern section. Let your drum loops play and perform chopped samples live over the top. Once you have a groove you like, you can duplicate that layered pattern over to an entirely new pad. On this duplicated pattern, use the Erase function to remove your live sample chops. This leaves you with a full, dense pattern and a stripped-back verse section. Chaining these alternating dense and sparse patterns builds a dynamic song structure from a simple 8-second loop. Listen to the playback of this final chained sequence. The quantized drums hold the tempo, the polyphonic chords fill the mid-range, and live chops provide rhythmic interest. To finalize the sound, route your chopped samples exclusively to bus 1 and apply a cassette or vinyl sim effect for some lo-fi texture. To maintain clarity, route your drums to bus 2 and use an isolator effect. This lets you roll off harsh high frequencies without losing the punch of the low end. Using separate effects buses provides vintage warmth while keeping the rhythm section distinct and clear. Now grab an SD card, load up your own samples, and test this workflow. Try adding substeps in TR-Rec mode, and subscribe to the channel for more production tutorials.